The Akatsuki, a rogue underground organization that was once created during the Third Great Shinobi War, originally for the sake of peace. Its founders were three young shinobi from the village hidden in the rain, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan, charged with the spirit of their sensei, Jiraiya, amassed a legion of followers in an attempt to free their country from the shackles of war. Unfortunately, the chaos of war dominated them all, and the pain felt from it was simply too great. Through all of this, Obito Uchiha, heavily influenced by the will of Madara Uchiha and under the alias of Tobi, decided to form a partnership with the group. After the death of Yahiko, however, the Akatsuki took on a new form, and although some conspiracies tying Tobi and Zetsu to the incident existed, Nagato and Tobi reformed the group as an extremely dangerous motley crew of rogue S-rank ninja, all with the goal of capturing all 9 of the tailed beasts, and furthermore, world domination. Along the way, various infamous shinobi were recruited into the group, ranging from Kakuzu, who once challenged the god of shinobi himself, all the way to Itachi Uchiha, who executed his entire clan, the infamous Uchiha clan, in a single night. And even Orochimaru had a minor stint with the group until Itachi spooked him away. One by one, the Jinchuriki were ambushed by two-man teams of the Akatsuki, which would inevitably lead them to the village hidden in the leaves, and to Naruto Uzumaki. Since Kisame's and Itachi's shocking appearance in the plaza of Konoha, the Akatsuki were relentless in their quests of Naruto and for world domination, leading to various large-scale battles across the shinobi world, some epic and some mediocre. Sunshine! Yo! What's up YouTube, 𝖘𝖍𝖆𝖎 here, and today, instead of ranking things from worst to best and then getting absolutely crucified for it no matter what you pick, I've decided to just talk about my personal favorites. My top 5 personal favorite Akatsuki fights from Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. But let's be honest, most of these are from Shippuden. Now the narrator voice intro was long enough, so let's just hop straight into the smoke, you know? But first, just a quick honorable mention to just one fight, and that's Kisame versus Might Guy. It didn't make my top 5, but I always felt like Kisame was super underrated, and the look and the idea of him fusing with 𝖕𝖓𝖎𝖓, his sword, was awesome, but for whatever reason, super overlooked. And then, you know, seeing Might Guy fight is always fun, so, you know, but anyways, let's start the list. Number 5. Now, this wasn't technically a fight. It was honestly just one of the few times that an anime strategy actually worked without, you know, much struggle or unforeseen incidents. Once Kakashi and Team 10 confronted Hidan and Kakuzu, Shikamaru wasted no time in separating the duo as he had a grudge to settle, you know? Now, Shikamaru had a plan, and we knew he had a plan. I mean, he always does, but no one had any idea just how lonely old Maruchan would counterattack Hidan's immortality or the Jashin ritual. There definitely wasn't as much action in this battle as there was on the opposite side of the battlefield against Kakuzu. And that's because it didn't last very long, and a huge chunk of this fight was just dialogue, but you know what? I don't mind that at all. But before we get to that, before we get to that, I just have to gush real quick over Shikamaru's cleverness, you know? I mean, just look at all the things that he was managed to do in such a short period of time, luring Hidan into what was essentially a straight booby trap, using Kakuzu's blood to catch him and Hidan both off guard, managing to defeat an immortal being without using a single sealing jutsu. This is Death Note level foresight here, I mean, come on. Shikamaru burying 𝖕𝖆𝖎 alive is still one of the most cathartic moments from the series, and that's saying a lot when you realize that this was all intensified from Asuma's death. You know, Asuma, the guy that you couldn't have paid me to give a crap about in part 1, yeah, that Asuma. Shikamaru's speech to 𝖕𝖆𝖎's dismembered body lying in a ditch made him look like an absolute badass, and is honestly the best that he's looked overall in the series, despite a few moments from the 4th Great Ninja War. And 𝖕𝖆𝖎 defiantly cursing at Shikamaru all the way until the rubble silences him is a great send-off for his maniacal and sadistic character. It's the best Shikamaru fight in the series in my opinion, and spoiler alert, Naruto and Sasuke kind of dominate the rest of this list, so props to this battle for being my favorite of the Akatsuki to not involve either of those two. Number 4. Now, this is one of the fights that I think caught everyone by surprise just by being so good. Of course, Sasuke was the star of this battle, which everyone was into because of his character direction post killing Orochimaru, temporarily at least. But this was still the most underwhelming version of Shippuden Sasuke. I mean, he was just getting started around this time. And then you pit him up against Datarow, who, let's be honest, wasn't the most engaging Akatsuki member to say the least, especially when introduced alongside basically what was Negagara, Sasori. Seeking a way to get back at Naruto from earlier in the series, and after finding out about Orochimaru's death, Datarow and Sasuke, who Naruto and the gang were currently searching for at this time, met in the forest where Datarow would then attack Sasuke over stealing his kill, Orochimaru. From there, it's just an excellent tit-for-tat strategic battle between two shinobi with very unique abilities. It's Datarow's long-range and wide-range attacks versus Sasuke's Sharingan and his array of short to mid-range ninjutsu. And because of this juxtaposition, Sasuke's tactical side was really allowed to blossom, you know? In almost no time at all, Sasuke was able to figure out counterattacks for, and stay with me now, multiplying clones, being surrounded by landmines, Datarow's Claybird, Giant Datarow, Earth Hand Signs, microscopic bombs, being infested with microscopic bombs, and a giant C0 bomb that could detonate an entire village more or less. You know, no big deal, regular day. And after all, this was only just a warm-up for Sasuke, who was really just looking for his Nissan. He never cared about Datarow. And even though his ultimate sacrifice would end up being in vain, sadly, this was still a real coming out party for Datarow. Not only did his innovative offense come as a pleasant surprise, really forcing people, including me, to put some respect on his art, but we also gained more insight into himself as a character, including the series of events that led up to him joining the Akatsuki. The parallels between Itachi and Sasuke really add a lot of much needed emotional investment towards this fight, and teases towards the full story of Itachi and Sasuke's relationship. Little does Sasuke know, he's a lot more similar to his brother than he thinks that he is, but we'll get to that later. Still though, even though Datarow was never the smartest in the room per se, I have to give him credit at least for realizing Sasuke's limitations with the Chidori, and for realizing his own advantage and then capitalizing on it. This is probably one of the most part 1 feeling Naruto battles in all of Shippuden, because it's not entirely about overpowering your opponent or using broken abilities. This is still before Mangekyo Sharingan or Rinnegan or Senjutsu became the focal point of the series, thankfully. This battle is a sport in which two shinobi find the most clever ways to utilize their arsenal of jutsu, with limited chakra and contrasting chakra natures. It just so happens that Sasuke managed to keep himself always 2 steps ahead of Datarow strategically, and I guess it helped that Sasuke's lightning chakra nature was also a perfect nullifier of Datarow's explosives, but whatever. However, it was clearly Kishimoto's intentions to get Datarow over in defeat here, and even if it wasn't, Datarow has certainly earned his place in a discussion of who's the strongest in the Akatsuki without the Sharingan or Rinnegan. I guess I had to place this battle ahead of Shikamaru and 𝖕𝖎𝖎 though, because although the previous is much more of an emotional experience, Sasuke vs Datarow is a perfect example of how a Naruto fight can truly be a chess match between two opponents, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Number 3. Now, I'm kinda cheating with this battle because this is technically two separate battles as only a fraction of an overall war, but well, cry about it in the comments. I had to include Naruto's first encounter with Tobi, now pimped out with a new mask because Konan destroyed his old one, honorable mention to that fight as well, and his 6 paths of what was that? Yeah. Anyways, and his 6 paths of Jinchuriki. This fight is, in short, one of, if not the most pivotal moments of the entire series. It's Naruto finally going up against one of the final bosses of the 4th Great Ninja War. It's the culmination of the Akatsuki chase from all the way back in part 1, you know, before Naruto knew the Rasengan and when Itachi and Kisame first showed up. Though the Akatsuki was pretty much moot by this point, Tobi was the only former Akatsuki member left alive, and no, Itachi does not count. We finally got to see all of the tailed beasts in action, even if they were controlled by Tobi. Besides Shukaku, but we've already seen him for the most part, you know. We've also seen Kurama, Gyuki, and even Isobu unleash themselves in previous episodes, but never an all-out Bijou battle like this. After Naruto would use Talk no Jutsu on the Four Tails and on Kurama for the 11th time, he managed to escape certain death and unlock his 𝖘𝖍𝖆 chakra mode. That was kind of redundant the way that I said it, but anyways, the action that will follow is just absolutely amazing. However, hit the pause button and fast forward like about 10 episodes or so after Sasuke finally gets his job done and forces the end of the reanimation jutsu. This is where the fight really gets started. It's Naruto, Kakashi, Guy, and 𝖕 against Tobi, aka 𝖕𝖆𝖎𝖓, aka holographic Tupac in a mask. And the question is, who is really behind the mask? It's Obito Uchiha, Kakashi's former squad mate while under the tutelage of Minato. But seriously though, this fight really was a showcase for just how OP Kamui is. If Kakashi wasn't there with his counter Kamui, then the rest of them probably would have been fucked by Obito's intangibility. The fight built to an amazing climax in the reveal of, finally, the masked Akatsuki member's identity. It all makes sense now why he was able to use the Sharingan for so long, and it all ties together, you know. He was the one that was responsible for the original Nine Tails rampage, the death of Naruto's parents, and Kakashi's Sharingan, despite him not being a member of the Uchiha clan. The battle with Tobi is one of the most satisfying fights in the entire series, and although it has 2 distinct halves, and technically isn't an Akatsuki fight, because the Akatsuki are old news by this point anyway, the battle against Tobi, Masked Man, Madara, Obito, whatever you want to call him, is my 3rd favorite fight against an Akatsuki member. And this was only the beginning, believe it or not, but I can't really include the overall battle against Obito, because then that's when we start getting into things like 10 tails, god trees, yin and yang chakra natures. It's a bit much, you know. But when all this takes place in the series is pretty much what the main goal of the Akatsuki was for the entire time under the leadership of a vengeful Nagato and an even more wicked Obito. Over the course of this battle, we got to see a new transformation for Naruto, we got introduced to a whole host of new and interesting characters, and discovered the truth behind Kamui. And we got to see 𝖕𝖎𝖎 fight with nunchucks. Nunchucks!
ホビト、本当にオビトなのか?
Number 2. So, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This fight has the best build-up of the entire series, bar none. After years and years of brewing over witnessing the death of both of his parents by the hands of his older brother as a child, becoming so emo and edgy that everyone finds you just so cool for folding your hands and constantly having school shooter thoughts. So emo and edgy that you end up cutting off your best friend, dubbing your crush, and end up deserting your home village, lusting for power after your older brother reappeared suddenly and completely sunned you. Sasuke has had one ultimate goal for the entire series up until this point, and we all remember it. Be it from episode 3 of the anime or the 4th chapter of the manga, you know, when Team 7 first met Kakashi and everyone gave their introductions. Sasuke has had one ultimate goal: to get revenge and kill his older brother, Itachi Uchiha. This battle is such a milestone for Sasuke's character, and in some senses is the climax of his story. At last, it's him directly confronting his inner demons and expunging them by his own strength. Even Sasuke's new friends, at the time called 𝖕𝖆𝖎𝖓, were only there for the sake of helping Sasuke hunt Itachi down, but once they reached the Uchiha hideout, it was a one-on-one fight to the death from here on out. And what a fight it was, man. Starting out with a bit of brotherly banter, you know, like how most siblings interact. Then, it all starts to kick off with a spirited back and forth between the two, consisting mostly of taijutsu and genjutsu. And even though this section contains a lot of dialogue and flashback cutaways, it's also filled with a bunch of incredible quotes, as well as knowledge about the history of the Sharingan. Itachi tends to start rambling off in riddles like an old-ass grandparent, but once you see that first tease of Itachi starting to go blind, all is forgiven as you start to realize that this could be Itachi's final stand, and that he's still just trying to teach his younger brother, despite turning him into a bloodlusting edgelord. Oh yeah, and speaking about edgelords, Itachi, you really should talk to somebody about that eye problem, bro. You get way too excited every time you talk about him. Even though it was just a genjutsu, but still, you know, it's kind of creepy. Then we get some more fighting, incredible fighting by the way, until the first of many big moments occurs in the battle, Sasuke breaking through Itachi's Tsukuyomi, with an ordinary Sharingan no less, you know, really foreshadowing just how OP Sasuke's dojutsu would become in the future. Which then leads us to our first glimpse of Amaterasu, a jutsu that Sasuke definitely gets very comfortable with later, but this time is being used by his older brother. But then after that, Sasuke gets all like, screw it, no more games, it's time to end this. And I just want to say at this point in the battle how much I love Zetsu's commentary on the side. Every great fight needs great sideline insight, and Zetsu fulfills that role in spades. You know, the multiple personality thing really works for him. But back to the fight, and this is where we see the debut of Sasuke's new original jutsu, Kirin. See, Naruto, you aren't the only one that can manipulate chakra natures, loser. And Kirin, to put it simply, is just a crazy badass jutsu, you know? Honestly, I wish we saw it more than just once in the series, but Boruto aside, I guess a jutsu like this does require some special circumstances, you know? Sasuke's Kirin also provides a great halftime point in the fight as well, because after this, it just starts to kick all the way into second gear, with way less dialogue and a bunch of last resort jutsu being used because, you know, chakra reserves are running low and Itachi, please go see a doctor! During this part of the battle, we start to see the calm and cool Itachi for the first time being pushed to his limits, being forced to reveal his Susanoo, the first one to appear in the series by the way. Sasuke also unleashes the full power of his curse mark, with the 8-headed serpent being summoned, and even a reappearance by Orochimaru, despite being killed by Sasuke prior to the Datarow fight. See, I told you it would come back around. But none of it is a match for the Totsuka blade, which can seal anything it touches, and the Yata mirror, which can block any attack. However, With Sasuke at his wit's end, Itachi seemingly marches towards him, ready to steal his eyes for everlasting power, but instead, his illness finally catches up to him, unfortunately, and he taps his little brother on the forehead, one last time as a nod of respect before his untimely death. Whew. Heavy, man, that's heavy. That's incredible too. There wasn't a boring moment in this battle up until the very end, it seemed like they could go either way. Itachi's love tap at the end was a crazy twist for first time viewers. Not only that, but this fight coupled with the next fight on this list, spoiler alert, was essentially a conclusion of sorts for the first half of Naruto and would lead into a soft reboot for the series. Sasuke vs Itachi gave a lot of closure for Sasuke from part 1 up until now, and set up a lot of story bits for the future like Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Madara Uchiha, and Susanoo. And of course, whatever this fight didn't get across, Sasuke's talk with Tobi afterwards filled a sin. Kinda, sorta? The conclusion of this fight left Sasuke with a whole new goal, a whole new perspective, and a whole new resolve. This fight is one of the best in Naruto full stop, not just with an Akatsuki member. It has everything from action to emotion to strategy. And as we learn more about Itachi Uchiha the man throughout the rest of the story, this fight only becomes better the 8th time and the 20th time you watch it. In fact, I think I'm gonna go watch it after this video.
あんたがその目をいくら使おうが、この俺の憎しみで幻は現実になると。幻は現実になるか。
Number 1. Oh, what could it be? If we're being real about this fight, okay, its only main flaw is that it should have been an end to the series, but it wasn't. And as 2013 Reddit as that sounds, I have to kind of agree with that opinion to a certain extent. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of all the great moments from the 5 Kage Summit and the 4th Great Ninja War, but I don't know, maybe draw a line after Nagato's and Itachi's deaths and call the rest of it like Naruto Shippuden 2 or something, I don't know. But other than that minor nitpick, this is considered by many to be their favorite Naruto fight, and it's hard to argue against it. This battle against Pain is a real coming-of-age moment for Naruto. In the wake of losing his master Jiraiya, Naruto went through an amazing character arc, kinda similar to when he was a kid, feeling lost and lonely, and working towards overcoming it, the only difference this time being that Naruto spent years with Jiraiya, you know, growing closer to him, whereas before when he was a kid, he never had anything to attach to, you know, he never met his parents, it was just blind hatred. Naruto then chose to honor his sensei by starting his senjutsu training the same way that Jiraiya did at Mount Myoboku in the past. However, while Naruto was gone, the Fire Nation attacked, I mean, the Akatsuki attacked, led by Pain, who would then proceed to kill Naruto's other sensei Kakashi, critically hurt a bunch of his friends, and pretty much destroy 80% of Konoha, for realsies this time. By the time Naruto returned though, way more powerful than before and decked out in all new Sage swag, it's honestly just icing on the cake, the fact that Pain was also the same guy that killed Jiraiya and sent Naruto into this whole depression arc to begin with. Oh yes, my guy, you are about to get these hands. And notice how I've spent so much time already only discussing the build-up and backstory to this fight. That's how intense this shit was, bro. It can't go without being mentioned. Now, the first thing Naruto did when he showed up was immediately destroy the Asura Path. And just after I freaking repaired it too. God damn it. Then, by showcasing new abilities like more advanced taijutsu and summonings, portable Rasen Shuriken, and smarter chakra control, Naruto was able to then get rid of the human path, animal path, Naraka path, and Preta path with little to no difficulty. I mean, it was a genuinely badass moment from someone like him that was, for a long time, referred to as the Knucklehead Ninja. All that remained afterwards was the Deva path, aka Yahiko's corpse, who actually mirrored Naruto in a lot of ways when he was alive. But As we all know, taking that down would be no easy feat, especially because Sage Mode would only last for a limited time, which was also a nice caveat to the new transformation. But can you believe that all that was just a warm-up? Yeah, it didn't take long for Hinata's Naruto-kun senses to kick in, and as Pain started having his way with the sageless Naruto, things were starting to look bleak for Konoha, even after Hinata attempted to free Naruto from Pain's chakra rods. But of course, that would then force Naruto to use a shonen protagonist's main trump card, caring for his friends. But credit where credit is due, this was a beautiful way of forcing a Nine-Tails transformation out of Naruto. Hinata confessing her love for Naruto and then being put down mercilessly by Pain, causing an enraged Naruto to get the closest to a full Kyuubi transformation that we've seen so far in the series, really upped the ante for the second half of the fight. This time around, it wasn't so much about Naruto returning to save the hidden leaf, as it was about Pain just literally fighting for his life, defending against the relentless onslaught of the Nine-Tails. Bet you regret that decision now, huh, buddy? And I don't really have to say much about this part of the battle. I mean, if you're watching this video, then you've probably seen this fight a million times already between, you know, watching the series, AMVs on the tube, or all the memes. And speaking of, the animation here can be a bit hit or miss, but if you've seen my OP ranking videos, then you know that I don't mind loose animation, even as Disney-ish as parts of this look. But then, before Naruto can completely kill himself and sprout the ninth and final tail, the one and only Minato Namikaze finally makes his first appearance in the series, excluding flashbacks of course. And although the whole storing my chakra in your seal as insurance in case something like this happens thing kind of falls apart if you think about it too much, it doesn't really matter in the end because we finally get to see Naruto talk to his dad, the fourth Hokage. And it doesn't get any more fan servicey than that, besides this, or this. Still though, Naruto actually receives a talk no jutsu for once by Minato, who then reinforces Naruto's seal just in time for the final face-off. And from here, it's just a battle of sheer willpower. And as Naruto's penultimate quote implies, although Pain already has his vision of the world set in stone, Naruto's resolve is unbreakable. And with the help of a little bit of leftover Sage Chakra and a traditional Rasengan, Naruto finally puts away Pain for good, rescues the entire Hidden Leaf Village, and finally gets recognized by the village as a hero. I mean, man, what do I even have to say about this? Do I even need to argue why it's the best Akatsuki fight ever? For all intents and purposes, Pain/Nagato was the de facto leader of the Akatsuki, dating all the way back to its first incarnation based out of the village hidden in the rain. At every meeting, it was Pain who was the one handing out orders and setting teams. Pain was the head of the operations when it came to capturing all the bijou. Pain was the one that every Akatsuki member, including the legendary Itachi Uchiha himself, was forced to respect to a certain extent. But Naruto took him down. And not only did he defeat him, he gave him one of the most powerful talk no jutsus of the entire series. The only other ones on this level being against probably Obito, Sasuke, and maybe Gaara just because of nostalgic reasons. But this one still might edge out the competition because he got a 2-for-1 deal. I mean, boom, Nagato and Konan, good guys now. It's a regular day, man. Naruto avenged 2 of his teachers and reached a whole new plateau of power. Some of the most cathartic moments of the entire series happened because of this amazing face-off. This battle is one of the most intense, compelling, and satisfying of the entire series. And although not by much, does beat Sasuke vs Itachi for my #1 favorite Akatsuki battle in Naruto. It's Naruto's true hero story. And that was my top 5 favorite Akatsuki fights. Let me know if you guys like my list. Let me know if you would change anything about my list. I mean, if there's one thing that I've kind of figured out in the process of making this video is that it's less Akatsuki fights than I thought you know. I mean, I know that there's only like what 10 Akatsuki members. You know, when you think about it, it was like it wasn't really much. So it's like, I don't know. I guess my top 5 is everybody's top 5. I mean, if Sasuke versus Itachi and Naruto versus Pain aren't in your top 5, then like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, let me know if you know, if there's just any other fights that deserves attention. Leave a like if I'm all right. Light up the comment section with your opinions. Subscribe please, because I'm broke. Be on the lookout for new ranking videos. Finally caught up on One Piece, so I might do a One Piece ranking video next. Maybe Black Clover, not really sure, but maybe it might not be an OP video. You know, it's 2020, man. It's a new year, and I'm ready to just churn these videos out. 2019, I appreciate you guys, for everybody that has watched my videos in 2019 and has subscribed to me. 2019 was just the beginning. You know, I was just testing the waters, putting videos out, seeing what I wanted my channel to be, seeing what people reacted to. Now I kind of have an idea for the future. So 2020 is just going to be about producing content and giving it to all you wonderful weeaboos out there on the web like me, because at the end of the day, we're all just geeks and weebs, and this is where we can all come together and converge, you know. So I'm out of here. Hope you guys liked the video. I think I got my outro right. I don't know, whatever. Sometime.